What is up YouTube and welcome to this Snowpiercer video. We had a great episode this week and the plot thickens, as well as finally hearing from the esteemed leader, Mr. Wilford. So if you enjoyed the video, please do drop a like down below and subscribe with notifications on. We start off with a narration of Chronal being spread across the train and how it does provide access, which yes, it does. Not only does it seemingly allow transport from car to car, but it allows people access to higher ups with people in third class, but also being able to spread across the entire Snowpiercer train. The Chronal does also appear to have an access chip, and well, it looks like they are really one and the same, to be honest here. This will be important very later in the episode. It appears to be in the hands of those who are deceased, and almost everyone who has high influence on the train is involved with this drugs racket. We find out just what is happening with this later on in the episode, but it is cool to see how it is supplied to the end user and how access is spread up and down the train. This is going to be a very big problem moving forward. We see more flashbacks of how Andre and his ex-fiancée split up. It looks like her leaving had a different reaction to people helping out in first class, while Miles being sent for an internship, as she is seemingly hated by the tailies and they look disgusted by her going to work in the night car. Andre gives her his ring for keepsake, but really to use as currency on the train to survive. It isn't clear if it was her decision, but by judging by the reaction she probably got, well, she may have elected to be a companion on the night car for an easier life, which I personally cannot really judge her for. The mystery of Wilford and Melanie also continues on, as he has written a letter asking for peace and requesting that those in charge of the train. And we get a fight night, well, and this allows third class members to get a class upgrade. So far, maybe I was too thick, but I presume the tailies were just pretty much slang for third class, but they are a whole class of their own, which is really going to be an issue moving forward. The murder is still being investigated after last week's confirmation that there was a cannibal ring going on the train. Andre's yeah, that's confusing, is still the focal point, as they were a Wilford informant, and it is all set around the Chronal black market. Of course, this is just a ruse for power on the train. Personally, I'm a bit unsure if I like that this is just a procedural crime drama, but this episode showed us more of the train, and that is what I want. I want to see the life on the train, and well, we will, as well, Melanie has no idea what is going on in the black market, and I would have thought that she would be smarter than that, so hopefully moving forward, we will see more of the train. Now, the real kingpin of the racket here does seem to be the head of the janitors, as our football security gun is under his thumb, but parts of me wonder if, like Andre said, this is state-sponsored control, as it's impossible that the train staff at the highest level would have not known about this black market whatsoever. The flight night is actually a distraction and is happening. Even the rich passengers are a tad suspicious that this is just a distraction. It is clearly, as it is for the bottom of society, to think that they can get ahead, for the rich to realise just how good they have it on the train, which, yes, they really do. Now, after last week's issue in the cattle car, the engineering team are trying to fix the train, but it does look like there will be an extinction event, as the train cannot handle another avalanche, which is a major problem, as they are coming up to even more mountains, which the tailies said. One solution is to decouple the tail of the train, a plan Melanie thinks about for a second but moves on. It would have a major impact, but there is another option of evacuating the tailies into third class, which then again would cause a major civil war. The tail being cut off is a plot thread which will no doubt carry on, and fight nights will probably also carry on, as tailies added to third class would be able to take part to ascend up the train, which in and of itself would be really worrying for those in rich and powerful positions. Interestingly, we finally hear from Mr. Wilford speak, and we hear him played by Sean Bean, but Melanie actually mouths the words. So did she write the speech, and is there an actor reading the words? Well, what she actually mouths is a saying that's chanted by everyone, so this really is anyone's guess, but it is pretty worrying that this is going on, and I wonder if she is trying to actually overthrow Mr. Wilford as well, as beloved as he actually is. The janitor who Andre interviews seemingly doesn't have any information, and the mystery just gets even more muddled, as the elite family seen through the show thus far are implicated in the murders with their security guard. The daughter saw the survivor and sends her bodyguard to kill her. She has spent time in third class, as she said in the first episode, so I wonder what they are doing and how they or why they are doing these murders. Let's not forget that these are the ones who actually funded the train, so perhaps they are trying to take over the train, as they frequently come into conflict with Melanie. That'd be a very interesting thing there, and they do, well, at least the show makes a big part about these people actually coming into contact, and a bit of friction there with Melanie herself, and they are interestingly the last ones there at the fight night as well. So all three of them are there. Their security guard isn't, so expect that to be another plot thread to pick up later in the show. Now, interestingly, we finally get to see Miles, and he is in the classroom just like the classroom that Alison Pill had in the movie. So he is living his best life being an entire intern. So I really like that. I do like the fact that he has survived there and he is actually keeping his eyes open, and he will probably actually be a big informant for Andre moving on. Now, we also see the Doctor, who was very much involved with the start of the episode as well, with the Chronal, and everyone who is in the stasis is affected by Chronal, and they are not having a good time when they come out of it, as we saw with one of these victims. So it's not looking good for anyone when the whole of the crew actually come out of there. And if you remember, last episode we had people going to stasis who were involved in a revolution, so they are also going to have that same problem when they come out of stasis. Perhaps this is sending people to stasis, getting them addicted to Chronal, and then trying to get them to pay and be kind of their slaves, so to speak, to the drug. Yeah, bit of a long shot there in my opinion, but yeah, I do like that, and the Doctor was trading Chronal for stuff they actually need in the medical wing because they don't have a lot of stuff. Melanie herself is not one to be crossed, as the mysterious scientist who got steamy early in the episode informs her that the investigation is progressing beyond her control, and Andre himself gets a chip only to give it to Josie and give them access to the rest of the train, which bookends the episode very nicely. So we've got some very, very interesting things moving forward, and I do like the rapid pace that the story is progressing because it could get very, very boring nonetheless, but I really do like it, and I'm interested to see what Melanie is going on, and I want to hear your comments down below. So if you enjoyed the episode, please do drop a like down below, and if you want to subscribe for more, please do subscribe with notifications on, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.